Okay, let's dive right into this. We so often fall into this mental trap of viewing leadership as a sort of static destination, like it's just this corner office you finally unlock after years and years of grinding. But looking at Ian Slade's insights on executive dynamics for today's explainer, that assumption is, well, it's actually completely backwards. Today we're going to unpack the continuous mechanics of what makes top leaders actually survive and, more importantly, thrive over the long haul.
So, ever wondered why the absolute most impactful leaders literally never sit still? Just think about that for a second. Think about the really heavy hitters you've studied or maybe even worked for. They aren't just kicking back, resting on their laurels, or coasting on their past wins, are they? There's this restless, almost compulsive motion to everything they do. Why is that? What is the actual driving force that keeps them pushing forward once they've ostensibly hit the absolute top of their game?
The reality is actually incredibly simple. They evolve. The real reason the absolute best leaders keep dominating their fields is because they treat evolution not as some happy accident, but as a relentless, highly intentional daily process. This doesn't just happen by magic. There's a rigorous, active methodology behind the whole shebang.
And it really comes down to this incredibly active rhythm of inputs. Read, listen, learn. It's that simple. But hey, it goes way beyond just skimming a couple of industry articles with your morning coffee. Top leaders are out there actively hunting for perspectives completely outside their own echo chambers. They listen, and I mean they listen uncomfortably deeply to what's actually happening on the ground. They deliberately bypass those middle management filters to hear the hard truths. And then, they learn by synthesizing all that friction into actionable strategy. They aren't just passive managers, they're active, continuous learning machines.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how this completely reframes the entire concept of failure. Whether it's a massive, highly public project implosion or just a tiny, unnoticeable communication hiccup, to an evolving leader, those aren't embarrassments. They're just raw data points. They don't let the huge mistakes completely crush their ego, and they certainly don't let the small ones just slip by unexamined. Basically, every single misstep is just R&D for their own continuous evolution.
Actually, let's just slow down for a second, because this gets right to the philosophical core of it all. Leadership is not a finish line. The very second you cross what you think is the threshold of making it and you stop moving, you instantly start sliding backwards. True leadership is an infinite game. It is 100% about the journey, not a final destination or a fancy new title.
And this brilliantly illustrates what I like to call the organizational ripple effect. When you choose to grow, you actively inspire your team to do the exact same thing. Just picture it in practice. When a team sees their boss out there actively asking for feedback or openly dissecting their own failures without a shred of ego, it completely shifts the culture. It gives the entire organization the psychological permission to stop hiding their weaknesses and actually start growing. It's a real game changer.
But we really have to look at the stark alternative here. If a leader stubbornly clings to that old, well, this is how we've always done it mindset, stagnation sets in immediately. The market, frankly, does not care about your past accolades. If you're just sitting still, dragging the heavy anchor of your old methods around, the painful reality is that the industry is literally going to sprint right past you.
So how do we make absolutely sure we don't become that anchor? We can distill the ultimate leadership secret into 3 daily, absolutely non-negotiable traits. Stay curious, stay humble, always adapt. Curiosity is the engine that forces you to keep seeking out new inputs. Humility is what lets you look at a complete failure without your ego throwing a massive tantrum. And adaptation, that's the physical proof that you are actually evolving. Look, these aren't just nice-sounding corporate buzzwords. They are mandatory daily disciplines.
Which brings us to our ultimate daily diagnostic question. What can I learn today? So the crucial point is, make this the very first thing you ask yourself every single morning. The secret to massive leadership success isn't some highly complex formula. It's just this relentless, humble pursuit of new data. Take a hard look at your own routine today. Are you acting like you've already crossed the finish line, or are you truly embracing the journey? What is the one specific thing you're going to learn today that will fundamentally change how you lead tomorrow?